Hello, my name is Lindsay Perez, and I'm here with Mr. Roth to discuss how this school year is going so far. Hi, Mr. Roth.
Good morning, Lindsay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Sorry, gotta get the questions. How do you think this school year is going?
Well, I think compared to how maybe I expected it to go, I thought this would be really hard. It is really hard, but it's going a lot better than I thought. Um, and that's not to say that I had low expectations, but I've been really impressed with the effort from our students. I've been absolutely amazed at the effort from our teachers and counselors and nurses and other staff. So I think it's going as well as can be expected.
What are you doing to make online school better?
I think we are just trying to keep learning, right? None of us went to school to teach this way. This is my 18th year in education, and it's my first working in a virtual school. And I think that's true for almost all of us. So we're just really trying to learn. We're trying to listen. Students have been great with helping us to understand what works for them and what doesn't. And we're trying to be, flexible while at the same time, moving forward and giving everyone the education that they need and deserve.
Sounds good. What are the biggest challenges for administration during this type of school structure?
Um, I think the biggest challenge, the number one is the same as everyone else, right? It's the unknown. We spent hours and hours and hours this summer. I mean, this summer was hard. Planning for things that we didn't know to plan for. And I think, once we got through the summer and started with actual school, I think now, to be honest, the hardest thing for me is that I have to work really hard to stay in touch with what's happening, right? Like I never taught this way. I never learned this way. So I want to make sure I can support everybody, but to do that, I have to make sure that I actually know what's happening in all of these classrooms. So that's been a challenge, but I like challenges. So
What has been the biggest success this far?
the effort, the determination, the persistence, um, watching students who have experienced technical troubles. They're in a class. I was in a classroom last week, and GoGuardian, GoGuardian had its issues. The teacher got kicked out. I was still in there as another teacher, so I could watch. So I just got to listen to the students say, like, oh, when this happens, we do this. The teacher came back in, the teacher got kicked out again. And then they said, all right, we know that the link is going to be in Schoology for the Google Meet. So they clicked on that. That shows amazing maturity, right? Like they could have just said, oh, this isn't working. I guess I'm just going to go lay down for 20 minutes till my next class. But they didn't, not a single person. And that has just been absolutely amazing.
That's really nice. What do you think would be the sorry. What do you think would make the students want to engage more in online school?
I think that the toughest challenge that we face in terms of engagement is I think about the first day of class in a normal setting, right? You walk in, you might talk to friends that you have from the past, right? But other than that, everyone kind of has that little nervous energy. Everyone's kind of quiet. Every classroom is its own unique, like family experience. And it takes relationships to start feeling comfortable. And those relationships are a lot more difficult to build like this. Through a screen when we're not together, we can't see facial expressions. So I think that as we keep working on that, as we keep getting to know each other, it builds trust, right? Like I think that this all really comes down to you trusting me and me trusting you, that even though we're not in the same room, we know that we're here for the same purpose. Um, and I think it's also us as adults realizing that engagement looks a lot different than it did before, right? There's a lot of times that kids are in classrooms and they're engaged in the work, even though they don't speak a whole lot. Well, now when we're virtual, if you don't speak a whole lot, it might seem like you're not engaged, but that's not always true. So we just have to keep, finding different ways to measure that engagement. And I think to connect with the students that are maybe not feeling connected to school right now.
How has online school been efficient in having students learn?
I think if it's if there's efficiency that comes out of this, it is that we are reliant, maybe overly reliant, on um, online quizzes, online assignments, which provide us with instant feedback. So we are very quickly able to see, how many people complete an assignment, how many people got questions right or wrong. There's a lot of power to that for students and for teachers.
What roadblock have students encountered while working online for school?
Many. It's tough. Obviously, technology, and I think as a whole, our technology department has been absolutely amazing. They are the most responsive team of people ever. But there are some things that they can't control. I think it's no secret to a lot of people that we've had a lot of issues with GoGuardian crashing, and that certainly has been a frustration for students and teachers alike. I think that sometimes just understanding what it is that you're tasked with during the day is kind of difficult, and the lack of structure. Having live classes from 7:30 to 10:25 is great, but then the asynchronous work being amazingly important, but also rather unstructured. That's really hard to deal with. I'm old and I struggle when I don't have structure, so I can't imagine how I would have handled this at 15.
And how is administration working with those students to get over them?
Just continually trying to reach out, and students have been amazing. I get, I don't even know how many emails a day from students saying, hey, I can't connect to this class, or I fell behind on my grades from this class, or here's something that I saw that worked really well, can you share this with teachers? There's been a lot of that. And then us also trying to use attendance data, grades, the login information that we have to see who maybe isn't as engaged as we'd like them to be, and then reaching out, trying to give that personal touch. And we've gotten a lot of help with that from teachers, from counselors. Our nurses have made probably thousands of phone calls at this point. Our lead teachers have been doing the same thing. So just trying to give it a voice instead of an email that says, hey, I missed you today.
What is being done to fix the students' internet stability?
So we are trying to work really hard to find a solution to something that is not entirely within our control. I know many people have hotspots from last year. And so those hotspots from last year, they came from Sprint. Sprint as a company was bought by T-Mobile. When T-Mobile bought Sprint, they stopped servicing Sprint's products. So while I am certainly not a cell phone expert, when we use our phones or our hotspots, it bounces off a cell phone tower, and those cell phone towers are amazingly important. But the Sprint towers are no longer being serviced. So when there's an issue, it just sits unfixed. So what we're doing now is we're working to secure hotspots, and we have purchased a number of hotspots from Verizon. Um, that's been pretty successful, and the tech department has been getting them out there. And then T-Mobile is also kind of recreating the program that Sprint had, and so before too long we will be getting in hotspots there as well. And the district has had a lot of conversations with Comcast. Comcast Essentials is a great way for people to sign up for really cheap internet. I think it's $10 a month. But sometimes the sign up process is really hard, and navigating that is really hard. So we've been trying to figure out ways that we can help with that.
Why is GoGuardian the preferred method of learning rather than Google Meet?
So I think what was so appealing about GoGuardian is something that teachers have used in the background for a couple of years. They are able to know while you're in class, are you engaged in class or are you watching a rerun of your favorite TV show? That's pretty important, if we're going to keep you engaged, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I get distracted. So it's good for your teachers to be able to pull you back a little bit. So GoGuardian always had that feature. This year they added in the conferencing feature that we see. It's probably what you guys think of when you say GoGuardian. And it's really a good system. It's a secure system, so no one from the outside is able to get in. We haven't had too many issues with that, but we've had one or two. So we like that. But at the same time, if it's not going to work right, then we're not going to use it. And so increasingly, we've been moving towards having a lot of classrooms on Google Meet as well.
How are we tracking students who have missed classes?
In a number of ways. So the first way that we're tracking that is your teachers are taking attendance during your classes just like they do when you're in the building. If you're not there, you get marked as absent. We're running those reports. Mrs. Stauffer, who works in the attendance office, she may not be seeing 150 of you every day like she normally would, but she's working twice as hard, making sure that all that attendance information is in there. We're getting attendance information from the tech school. And then we're also taking a look at grades, right? Because half of the day being asynchronous, it doesn't matter if you were marked present in the morning. We need to see if you're getting that work done in the afternoon as well. And just trying to, again, use that information to reach out, call students, call families, and just get people re-engaged.
How is the tech school functioning?
So today is an exciting day. It is the first day that we have some tech school students going to the tech school itself. And so here's the tech school in a nutshell. Students that were in the tech school last year, so juniors or seniors who were tech students last year as well, they are going 1 day a week, either Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, and that day is assigned by the tech school. They go from 7:30 to 12:45, and then their day is over. The other 4 days of the week, they are getting live sessions in the afternoon. So after 12:45, the tech school has live sessions, and those students are still attending our live sessions in the morning. But on the day that the students go there for the day, they have no live sessions in the afternoon. And then students who were not tech students last year, all of their work is virtual for tech schools. So they have live sessions every afternoon.
If students are having technical problems, who should they contact?
So if it is a technical problem, call the help desk, the technology help desk. And their number is 610-270-2923. They have a lot of people answering phones. All of our tech people are there working to help. And a lot of issues they are able to talk you through over the phone in English and in Spanish, by the way. And then there's also a lot of issues where they can't fix it over the phone. And so then they set up an appointment with you to come by the admin building, and they'll either fix your machine or they'll swap it out and give you another one.
Do you think we will go back into in-person school this year?
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I think, right now we're still due back January 11th. And I think that we will be in a unique spot, right? Because we know there are some districts that are relatively close to us that are going to start going back a little bit sooner. And obviously, I wish them well. And I think that we'll also get to learn from what goes well for them and what doesn't go well for them, right? And I think us having a set date from the beginning has given us a great opportunity to really, truly prepare, for that. The beginning of the summer, when we didn't know exactly what was going on, that was really hard. We were trying to plan for everything at the same time. And so when Mr. Dormer and our school board made that decision to say January 11th is the day, it gave us a target. And so, while we're working really hard to make this online thing work right now, we have a set date to plan to return. Our facilities team has been great, keeping the buildings, really clean. They have a lot of protocols in place. And the COVID numbers have been getting a lot better, not just in the county, but in Norristown itself. And I know, a lot of us know that Norristown was hit really hard by the coronavirus, but things have been getting better significantly. And so I think if we social distance and we wear our mask and we do what we're supposed to do, I think we have a pretty good shot of seeing each other in person in January.
Do you think it's possible to go back to school and not have sports
Um,
or vice versa?
so I think that if there has to come a time where, we get back to school and not just academics, right? So much of the high school experience is what happens outside of the classroom. I'd love to tell you as an educator that all of my favorite moments when I was a student came from, biology class or history class, but I think you and I both know that's probably not true. I remember athletics, I remember concerts, I remember, dances and proms. And we are desperately trying to get back to that. So, talking about sports in particular, we are working really hard right now. PIAA gave us permission to schedule alternate seasons. And so we are working really hard to, in a safe way, get back to competing, probably late in the winter. And then those who have missed fall seasons, we're working with a number of other schools in the same situation so that our fall sports can be played in the beginning of spring. And that way people still get to play their seasons because we know that that's important. And I don't want to leave out things that are not sports too. I know that it's important for JROTC to get back to drill. I know it's important for our choir and our orchestra to get back on the stage. I really want to see a play or a musical this year. And so I don't want people who are involved in things that are not sports to think that we're just focused on sports. But a lot of these things are starting to come together in a way that gives me optimism.
How can students find out more information about things happening in school?
So one is, you know, start with the email that goes out every morning, right? And check your emails, not just because I send you something, because to be honest, your teachers are probably sending you things that are even more important to you than what I send. Um, but everyone getting the same message is important for our sense of school and our sense of community, right? My biggest fear in all of this is we've been away for so long. Um, I love this place because of the sense of family that we have here in the school. And we have to hold on to that. It's what makes us special. So, doing that, checking your email, obviously, NASD TV is a really important, way to do that. So, if you are watching this but you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe now. Pause this video and subscribe. And then social media. The district has a really good social media influence. It's a good way for us to get things out there. And, so I know for myself, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. It's at NAHS Principal. And at this point, I build my self-esteem by how many followers I have. So please give me a follow. It's a good way to keep in touch. And then Schoology. A lot of your teachers and a lot of clubs are on Schoology. And if you're looking for clubs to be involved in, even virtually, go to the high school website, and under the student tab, there is a place for clubs, and a lot of them are virtual. So get involved.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Honestly, just I thank everyone. I know this is hard. I do have, I have students who reach out, all the time saying, "Hey, I hope you guys know how hard this is," and I hope that you guys know that we hear you. We are trying to make this. We know that we can't do what we did in the spring, where we weren't teaching a whole lot of new content because you need the education that you deserve, right? We're doing you a disservice if we send you off into the world without learning everything you should learn. But we also know that it's not realistic to think that it's going to be the same. Um, so we're going to have good days and bad days. When we have those good days, let's remember what made them good. When we have those bad days, let's take a deep breath and not feel like the world is caving in. And when people need help, let's reach out for help, whether that be to your teacher. Certainly, you can reach out to me and to our counselors as well. Our counselors are always available and they're more than willing to help you.
Thank you for talking with us today, Mr. Roth. And thank you all for watching. Remember to keep on doing your online school and remember to wear your mask.